My body does not move properly without it. It's just the skin feels weird. So I have to do it all over my body after I get out the shower. This body. This hair. I didn't talk about the rest of the body, but I wanted to let you know a little bit. To put this hair, the scalp, the follicles, the shaft, the ends of it. Touch, do me a favor, grab the end of one of your strands and then pull it apart. Find one strand and touch the strand and run your fingers along it to touch the moisture of it, the moisture behind it. Do you know that God has counted it? He's counted every strand on your head. You my foot starting to hurt a little bit now. It was actually a little glass shard. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get up. I can truly say that I've been blessed. I'm going to walk around a little bit. Walk on it. I used to sprain my feet all the time. Just walking. I would trip on my own feet. I would trip myself. My feet would turn in. They don't turn in as much as they used to when I was a kid. So I would trip over my own feet, right? So I would spray my feet, spray my ankles right here. And so what they would tell me as a kid in elementary school when I was playing basketball, especially, they say, walk it off. I'm like, yeah, yes, you can. Walk it off a little bit. I need to go to the hospital? No, you don't. Walk it off a little bit. I need some help? No, you don't. Walk it off a little bit. Sometimes we got storms. Sometimes I got wounds. Sometimes I have tears. And you need to realize it's not the hospital that you need, it's God. Walk it off. He said to those that walk in the spirit, you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Realize God cares about the shaft, about the tip, about the end, right? About the moisture behind it, about the porosity, high or low, right, of your hair. He cares about your scalp, where it needs oil. Hallelujah. Because if you're like me, a couple years ago, somehow I got some sort of a cradle cap. Because I was not putting oil on it. I don't like oil on my head. Now I make all oil, right? I don't have to put that thick oil that they give you. I can put that on my hair because that needs it, right? But the thick oil that my hair requires, I don't like on my scalp. Because if I touch it, then it's on my hands, and I gotta wipe my hands off. I gotta wash my hands because it's on my hands. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a whole saga. It's extravaganza. It's extravaganza. So God gave me a knowledge to make my own sort of moisturizer out of cloves that boil into a tea, a hot tea, right? And then I put essential oils inside of there, and I could judge whichever one I think I need the most. I said, what do you need the most? You gotta get up, put that in the pot, and cook it into the mixture that you're putting in your hair. Pour it all over you. I feel like pour it on you. Now that it takes a long time for that to get into. Pour it all over you, like they pour the oil. The priest pour the oil on Aaron to hit the beard, right? Until it runs down the shaft of the hair. Pour it on the scalp of your head. Meet me, after you do. Meet me, at the terebinth tree. Pour some oil from your cruise. Pour some oil from your cruise. See, the thing is, she had Elijah in the house, right? And she had oil in the cruise. Now listen to me. Don't think logically for a second. Listen to what I'm saying. She had oil. Don't think logically. Think like Jamie. Don't think logically. She had oil in a cruise. She had oil in a cruise. This is a woman that said, oh, if I come in Honda, I got to kill myself and my son. She was going to perform the first biblical murder, mass suicide, family mass suicide, how they do it. She was going to perform the first one, right? Because she said, I called Elijah, and then I called for God. She called God, and she was waiting for God to send Elijah. And since God didn't send Elijah quick enough, she said, I got my stuff together, and I went out to first. She said she had some oil, and then I had the sticks, and I had a little bit of meal. Now, how many of y'all know God a little bit? Me, sometimes, when he lets me know him, I know him sometimes because he lets me see him sometimes, but not all the time because I'm a little dumb. I do dumb stuff. Mean. Yeah, it's true. Because, help me, Jesus. I almost poked myself in the eye. I think I'm just trying to kill myself today. Wow. Okay. She had meal. She had oil and a cookies. And she said, I'm about to go outside. Because surely, if you hadn't showed up, Elijah, I was going to go outside, give me some sticks, bake these sticks, bake some bread. Me and my son, we was going to die. What is that? I'm not saying, what is this? Who probably is standing asking, what is that? Go get this woman before she kills herself needlessly. When God says, I'm going to pour you out, that's what you're supposed to, some part of your blessing is supposed to be rotated. It's supposed to be rotated. She had exactly what she needed. She should have her own foundation. She should have been the one to start Dunkin' Donuts. I'm telling you, she had that much meal. Selah. See, God is a God of order, no chaos and confusion. And you must realize if someone is your miracle, if someone is the miracle for you, you are also the miracle for them. And so when they come and they even come to rescue you from where you ought to bless them by them rescuing you, just like they bless you, right? Some part of Elijah was going to be fed just by him being there. What she did not know is that the person that called for the famine, she was calling on God to send him. Elijah calls for the famine. Elijah was the one that did it. So when this was a whole a thing with Elijah, because he went to God and he said, hey, these are the rules. These are the rules. You said I could call for a famine. So he called for a famine, and God followed through with the rules. Y'all see the taking stuff from the government when you should be calling for a famine. I call for a famine. I call for a storm at the White House. Hallelujah. Hurricane, tornado, and a hurricane, tornado, and earthquake. I want all three of them. I want a trinity of a storm. I want them to be an eye of it too. So that way they will see you. God, I call for a storm. We are sitting in famines, not realizing we have everything that we need and enough to call for it. Here's the problem. Yes, God, because Elijah called for the famine because Ahab and Jezebel weren't acting right. The famine had nothing to do with her, and yet it affected her. So Elijah was still responsible for going to see about her when she prayed and asked God for help. Now remember, you called for a storm and God sends it. You are responsible to meet everybody where they are at when and if God sends you to them. Now, Elijah, when the first storm happened, where did he go? To the brook Cherith. And we talked about this. I did a poem about it. It was nasty because first of all, the Bible says the ravens was feeding them. Just because you call for the storm, Elijah, does not mean it's going to be easy. You call for the famine. Remember, what is indicative of famine? Death. So you call for a famine, I'm going to have death feed you. And I'm certain that Elijah ate well, but I'm certain that he ate rubber tires, and he realized that he ate screws and nails. He realized it was grinded, right? Because the bird don't got no hands. I said, God, the bird don't got no hands. How do you feed Elijah? I said, oh, I don't want to be no prophet. When I first realized it, you ate from the mouth of death. Y'all talking about death with a sickle. The raven fed Elijah from his mouth. When I asked the Holy Spirit about it, I said, how did he eat? He said, how do all birds eat? Jamie. He ate from his mouth. So the raven said, he opened his mouth up, and Elijah said, and they said, they ate the food. That's how he got sustenance. So Elijah called for the famine, so Elijah going to get a little faminized too. You call for a famine, don't think there's something going to happen to them over there, right? Because even back in Egypt, when there was darkness and when there were these famines and plagues that were coming in, right? We saw the children of Israel that were prospering and the Egyptians that were not, right? It's because of the fact that God called for them. So it says God called for it. He took care of everything. He made sure that they knew, put some blood on the door. He made sure that they knew just exactly what they needed to do to survive. And they didn't have to do no frauds. None of their kids died. Hallelujah. Because God called for it. God said you can call for it, but remember, you got to be the provider in it. You have to step up like the Jehovah Jireh and get up and go speak to people if they ask. I send you to them, right? So, because I evoked the will. You evoked the plague. You evoked the famine. I said that you could do it, but now you are not responsible for saving them, but you are responsible for going and praying with them when I tell you to. I evoke. This is a problem in the church. Nobody's willing to stand up for anybody. Nobody's standing in the gap. Why? Because they know exactly what I'm saying is true. I can't stand in the gap because what if I stand in the gap and I say, God, bless this person, and if you have anything to do with them, then let it go through me or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? They will not intercede for anybody. Intercession is when I stand in the gap for you. I stand in it. I not only get in it, but I stand in it. I stand strong in it. I'm proud to be in it. And God, I pray for them. And I ask you, God, anything that they're dealing with, God, let me deal with it too. Standing in the gap and interceding is the Good Samaritan prayer. And none of us are good or Samaritans because we don't want to do it. We don't want to stand in the gap. We want to call for the famine, but then we want to eat at Red Lobsters. Yeah, he ate at Red Lobsters. He's at the Brook Cherry. That was at some lobsters in the water. Then he had some Brook lobsters. He had some Cherry-Fies lobsters. Cherry-Fies lobsters, cherry flavored lobsters. No, okay. I tried Elijah's. Sorry. You want to call for the famine, but you don't want to be inside of it. You will realize that Jesus will meet you. Jesus, for the most part, I've known Jesus to be my storm. I don't tell people things like this. Jesus is my storm. And I see Jesus that way every time a storm comes in my life, every time I get sick. When fibromyalgia just becomes too much and my immune system starts beating me too bad. Like right now I have pins and needles all over my body. But when it becomes too much and I cannot get up off the couch, like Cassie told me last week, she's like, Jamie, you got to pray for me. I can't get up off the couch. And I knew she was in pain because I was in pain. This is how fibro works. It's an environmental thing. It's not. So when it becomes that bad, I'm like, oh, my big brother's trying to talk to me. Jesus is my storm. It's the way I expressed it. Is Jesus my actual storm in my life? No. But what you must realize is more often than not. He said, they said, who is this man? What man of man is this? What is this? What is this? But what man of man is this that can stand up and speak to the winds and the waves and they obey him? He said, peace be still. If he can speak to them, right? They speak the same language, right? Then they all like each other. Oh, Jesus, you can talk to the river. Jesus, you can talk to the snow. Can you tell me to get off my driveway? Come on. He can speak to the storm. He can speak to your blizzard. It's crazy in your life. Do you think God wants you to stay in the blizzard? God will allow it so that you can see that all things are supposed to. You can go Bible and say, wait a minute, I want to put on boots right now, but excuse me, Booper, give me 1 second to read this Bible. All things work together, and we know all things work together for the good, right? But Jesus is supposed to be working for the good. This blizzard is covering all my windows, and I'm on 4th floor. I'm in a penthouse. The blizzard is covering my windows. Help me, Jesus, because I don't see us being good. And you're supposed to be good, God. You're supposed to help me. What's going on? If God ordered it, he will pay for it. If God ordered your storm, and it's too much for you, he will pay for it. Pay you to go through it and to pay it for it to come off your windows. Ask Job. Everything that God orders, he pays for. Job only held up this miracle because he sat there talking to his friends. How long did Job hold up his miracle? The whole time that he sat there talking, pitying himself, scratching sores in the pot, and then talking to his friends. If he had stayed there, though he slay me, then they could have yet will I, ding, 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 ding. If he had stayed with yet will I trust him and stayed there, and his friends come up, Job, how you doing? Though he slay me, yet will I trust him? Job, we want to talk to you. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him? His friends would eventually left. I do that to my family, my sisters. People don't like that, but they'll leave you alone. If you stay there, though he slay me, yet will I trust him, right? Why are you flicking swords in a pot? That's nasty. You want to eat out that pot again? That's nasty. Why are you flicking swords in a pot? It's a show. Showmanship. Showmanship. It's a show. It's a show. That's a show. That's a show. That's your mama. That's my show. I don't know. I just made it up. I make stuff like that up all the time. That's your mama, but this is my show. That was good. I think that was good. Showmanship. Showmanship. This is my show. This is my show. This is my show. Is it? This is my show. This is my show. The bulk of us, we want to please God, appease God with words of, this is my show. To let him know that this is my show, God, you work for me. This is my show. This is my show. And it's those of us that do that end up on the flow. On the flow. On the flow. We end up on the floor. This is not your show. And yet and still, can we do an item description? Can we do an item description of this picture? All on a cruise, oxymoron. Meal in a jar, even worse. That's just bad. And sticks. Now, she said, if you had not come, this is a show. Swan song, swan song. If you ain't come, Jesus, guess what I was going to do? I was going to get me some sticks and kill myself. Kill myself. What good is that going to do? Dummy. It makes me mad, the people that will kill their entire family and then kill themselves. Please stop. America, please stop doing that. Please just kill yourself right now. Please. Help me to help you. I will get the gun for you. Please. Stop killing children. If you want to kill yourself and you're not going to go get no help because you know what help is, if you want to kill yourself, then just kill yourself. Nobody wants to say that to America. I say it to America. That is stoop to the end. Your ID is on the stoop. We talked about that. I was on Jonathan Street, and I come on that stoop in front of my house. I had steps and a long, extremely nice Harmony. She mowed the lawn for me. Long lawn in the back. So sometime out in the lawn, whatever I got to do. My neighbor, the lawn is so big, my neighbor actually had 100 people over there at one point, at one time. But also on the stoop, I didn't sit on the stoop at all, but I saw glancing, I saw at one point she had 2 beach chairs, 4 kids, right? Herself and 3 other people sitting on the stoop in the front. Now, if that's the case, that's okay with me, because the chairs were leaning, like you know how the spokes that you sit on, they were falling off the stoop. So if you want to brush your face, that's okay. I don't mind, honestly, I don't mind. But the picture is what I'm talking about. You pray for them and keep going. The picture number 1 was beautiful because of the kids. Because they were all braiding each other's hair. So I couldn't look over there too long because every time I looked over there, she attacked me. But they were all braiding each other's hair, so I thought it was so adorable. The problem is that they give you 3, 4, 5 steps in the backyard and then a long lawn, which means they want you to spend your time where? In the back. Because on Jonathan Street, there's crime and there's different things going on. And we have people driving up down the streets and making loud music and honking and blah, 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 making loud noise. We were a part of what they called housing rehabilitation. So they wanted to rehabilitate those houses. They wanted to rehabilitate that area. They wanted to see if it could be rehabilitated. And so what they wanted to do was keep you from contributing to that part of society that was known as Jonathan Street. If you want to be, you could be on Jonathan Street, but we don't want you to be seen on Jonathan Street. Because you got 1 stoop and 5 steps and a big lawn. They didn't have to tell me. The problem with being stupid is when you put your ID, everything you got, and you risk busting your face to sit in beach chairs and lawn chairs that stretch out on the stoop. You got a backyard. This is not about her. I'm talking about in general. But I see my backyard was so long. We as kids used to do what they were doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about her. That's very common. We as kids used to do that. And then Samantha would scream, Tasha would scream, turn! And I would have to say, on! And Samantha would say, your lights! And Tasha would say, baby! I didn't like doing it. It made me feel like, I don't know, it made me feel icky. Shouting at cars. So at least we were sitting on steps. I always assume, right, if you have steps on one side and a stoop on the other, then your landlord is trying to tell you something without actually telling you it. We want you sitting in beach chairs on the stoop because you're putting your ID, everything you got. If you fall off that stoop, that's everything you got. You'll crack your face open. That's everything you got. That's how people identify you. That's everything you got. You crack your face open by sitting on the stoop. You crack your face open. You mess up your ID by sitting on a stoop. That is stupid. And we do it all the time. We put everything we got, instead of sitting where God tells us to sit, we put everything we got, right, pack out, right, the full areas. I'm telling y'all, I was in the back of church and I sat down and I just sat because I wanted to see if I could actually stay back there. I sat down and I was like, I got up and immediately went to the front. Before church started, I was like, who am I kidding? There's lovely people back there, right? But sometimes you're shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder with people, right? Instead of sitting, the front is empty. Where I sit, nobody sits in my little row thing at all. Amber sits to my left in the next row. So she wants to come talk to me. She has to get up out of her row and then come talk to me. Nobody sits next to me ever, right? I mean, one person sat next to me. My pastor sat next to me. And that was really cool. I love having them sit next to me. But besides that, nobody. Because everybody's scared of the front. Why? Because you think people are looking at you. They ain't looking at you. If they see you, they're looking at the back of your head. And your head ain't that interesting. Schwa. We put our ID in being where we want to be, and we won't just go with the flow. I know you want to sit on the stoop, but I don't want you on the stoop. The stoop is a stoop for people to step on it's just a brace people to get into your house. The stoop is just a brace that people can hop up into your house. If you ain't got steps there, then you don't have a place to put your butt, and then a couple steps down your feet, then they don't want you to sit there. They make it uncomfortable on purpose. Go with the flow, right? The flow of the Spirit. God is telling you to sit where I want you to sit. Just praise me like I want you to praise me. Just stand up when I tell you to stand up. Just worship with the worship team when he tells you to worship. To praise God when the pastor is preaching. Just lift your hands just a little bit. Say amen sometimes, right? To cheer the pastor on. Sometimes. Every pastor they get up, at my church get up and they preaching. I'm not like, yeah, praise God. Oh yeah. And my pastor gets up, I'm always so scared to say a word. I'm like, I can't do it, guy. I'm going to break his concentration. He is not for. He not for. He not for. He not on the flow. He not scared of no show. Show people how to worship God. If they're going to look at you, then give them a reason to look. Because more often than not, God has set you up in a place where he can harvest you. What the scripture says, let the wheat and the tare grow together. When he comes, he will do the separating. He has a sickle, he can separate. The sickle separates. The wheat and the tare grow together. I said because that one chick that said what she said to me about being in a museum, I don't know how the museum could take you. Your art is not even real art. It's disgusting and you're disgusting. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you. Blah, 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 blah. Sometimes people say things. And I'm just outlining what she said. Don't ever ask if you can help me. That was the problem. I asked if I could help her. I said I would get on a disability bus and go over there every day and just do work for her. Nobody had to know. Put it up in your garage. I'll do whatever you got to do. I'll stay outside your house and then I'll leave. That's if you want. Everybody has an assistant. I don't because I don't need one, but I'm disabled. She works. Don't ever offer me help. Are you kidding me? You can't help me. You're not worthy of helping me. Okay. Now, with that being said, when I'm the tare and she's the wheat, y'all get it? She said that it was the nastiest thing. I mean, some people say some nasty things to me. I mean, when her mother said it to me in front of the Bible study, repeated it, Miss Carol and Miss Melanie just looked like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened. And that was 3 years ago, and they still remember that happened. I got dizzy. I got sick. Because Because other things were said in front of them too. I got sick, nauseous. So I was like, only offered to help. When she's the tear, when I'm the tear and she's the wheat. Because trust me, and best believe this. This woman that did this to me and said this to me, she's always been that way to me. So I was trying to extend myself to be even kinder to her. Just like what I did with that woman in Jersey, where I tried to extend myself to be even kinder around her. She told me to kill myself, the woman at my church. Some people just have like this acidy type poison inside of them. Now, when she's the wheat and I'm the tear, because best believe there are times when she is weak to people around her, and at those exact same times, I bet you the people that I'm around, I am the tear. So God didn't say put them out of the church. God didn't say hurt them. God didn't say turn them down or turn them away, put them on their face. God said let them grow together. To be honest with you, I don't even talk to them anymore. To the whole family, I don't talk to them. I used to be very tight with them. I don't talk to them anymore. And they're in my church. But what I love is I know in my spirit. I know in my spirit. And I pray that she's growing. And I pray that God is doing great things in her. She's a teacher. So she's dealing with children. So I pray for her just in case she ends up teaching my pastor's kids. I pray for her. Put a hand on one of them. I dare you. I won't defend myself. I didn't defend myself. I'll defend the kid. And so I pray for her. That God will lead her into the right way. Because guaranteed, nobody's perfect. At that moment, yes, I did everything perfect. I did everything I was supposed to do. Absolutely. But what about the next day? After what she said to me, what about the next day? I'm sure, I don't know, I don't remember what I was thinking, but I'm sure I was thinking, oh, blessed assurance for these people who did this thing to me. Yeah, they're awesome. I'm sure I wasn't thinking that. I promise you. I might have been thinking Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, but I wasn't praying for them like I should be. The point to our storms is when people become our storms, what you need to do is pray, right, to Jesus to have him cease, peace, cease, and desist them.